You're doing carnivore wrong. This is the last part on fat. I'm not going to do a whole big introduction. I am Celeste Mumford. Watch my other posts. I'm going to tie the loose ends about the question I received from a few people about how to know if you're not getting enough fat. So this is just going to be the recap. Fat is a required macronutrient. The body requires fat. This is why fat is essential. It's an energy source. It's a good source of fuel. It helps insulate and protect, regulate your body temperature and protect vital organs from injury. It helps with the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K. Essential fatty acids like omega-3 and 6s, okay, which are vital for brain function, cell structure, hormone production, and the body cannot synthesize them, okay? So fat is needed, okay? What else? Not eating enough fat can lead to a range of noticeable signs, including dry skin and hair, feeling cold easily, persistent hunger, fatigue, and mood changes. Other factors could be poor concentration, joint pain, and increased susceptibility to illness. Now, if you have some of these signs, you could be low in fat. However, don't just break the glass just yet. Remember, I mentioned that carnivore is part of the ketogenic diet. Ketogenic diets are where you use fat for fuel and energy instead of carbohydrates. Now, part of the ketogenic diet is using fat or stored energy as ketones to convert to glucose and use it as your body needs it. So being low on fat from the food that you consume is not necessarily a bad thing, because you're probably carrying around some stored fat and energy and fuel in the form of obesity on your body. Part of the ketogenic diet, which carnivore is part of, you want to learn how to eat to give your body enough fuel and energy that it needs, but you also don't want to overdo it on the fat, because you want your body to eat some fat. You want your body to eat stored fat. You don't want to carry around all this fat that you've been saving up. Let your body feast on the fat. So you want to eat enough fat, but you don't want to eat too much fat. You want to help your body get into ketosis. So some of these signs that you might be low on fat could also mean that you're in ketosis and that your body is switching fuel sources from carbs into ketones. So when you switch carbs into ketones, you might feel cold. That's a sign that you might be low in fat, but that can also be a sign that you're using ketones. That's a good thing, right? Fatigue and low energy could be a sign of keto flu or carnivore flu, meaning that your body is switching fuel sources and you might be a little cold. Cold is not a bad thing, right? Cold plunging. Cold is not a bad thing. That means that your body is revving up its internal furnace to burn more fat. That's a good thing. That's what we want, right? Yay. Okay, mood changes could be part of ketosis too, right? Before you get mentally stable and have, good concentration and focus, sometimes things are going to get a little foggy. And that can be the change of the fuel source. Not a bad thing, right? Some joint pain. Certain fats like omega-3s are important for joint health. Not getting enough can contribute to joint pain and stiffness. And while ketosis in and of itself is not a direct cause of joint pain, the ketogenic diet which induces ketosis, can sometimes be associated with joint pain. Okay, so increase susceptibility to illness. Fat is important for your immune function, not necessarily tied to ketosis, so you want to keep an eye on that one. Low fat intake can weaken your immune system, making you more vulnerable to infections. So in that case, if you feel like you're getting sick, not the keto flu, not just a change in fuel source, if you feel like I'm coming down with something that's a little heavy, increase your fat intake. You might even want to go to the doctors, right? You might get irregular menstrual cycles. If you're a childbearing age woman, being low on fat could mess up your periods, right? Fat is an important for hormone production, and low fat intake can disrupt the menstrual cycle. Missed menstrual cycles can also be associated with keto, right? The ketogenic diet, but it's not a direct consequence of keto itself. It could just be you need more fat, right? So you need to examine the reasons why you think you need more fat. And if you're cold, if you're a little moody, you're a little hormonal, not necessarily messing up your periods for a long period of time, but that could just mean you're going through ketosis. Not a bad thing, right? The only way out is through. When you're changing fuel sources, your body's going to go through some changes. Some of it should be expected, right? You're changing systems. Now, let's see. Now, constipation is something that people experience with carnivore, right? Fat helps with digestion and bowel movements. Not enough fat can contribute to constipation, but constipation can be a side effect of entering ketosis as well, right? So fat is tied to fuel and energy. It's also tied to ketosis. So you just want to be aware, but I want you to learn about the signs that you're entering ketosis. So the answer is not always have more fat. The answer is not always take more electrolytes, right? And that's the common answers you get. The answer is not always that you need more electrolytes, and it's not that you need more fat all the time. Sometimes the answer is your body's going through, and you need to allow it to go through without trying to stop and halt the process, right? Now, besides constipation being a sign of ketosis, dehydration could be a thing, right? Because carbohydrates hydrate. And when you go low carb, you're not as hydrated. But let me tell y'all something. A lot of y'all are doing salt with water, and I'm not going to tell you don't do salt with water. But milk hydrates better than water, even with salt. Raw milk hydrates. Why? Because it has good fat and it has good sugar, right? Milk hydrates better than water. And if I am a big proponent of raw milk. Raw milk is carnivore. Raw milk can be ketogenic. I don't believe in ultra processed milk. Raw milk. You can do raw cow milk, sheep milk, my favorite, goat milk, buffalo milk, whatever milk you drink. And if you don't have a negative adverse effect to milk with lactose, I would say add milk. And I know this is controversial. I would say add a little bit of raw milk to your carnivore diet. It helps you to be hydrated. It helps you to get good fat. And it is hydrating. Okay? Your body will adjust over time with constipation. Now, I want to talk quickly about butter. Butter is great for a great source of beta hydroxybutyrate, and so is ghee. Both of those help you to get into ketosis and burn fat. So even though your weight loss coach, your carnivore coach tells you to eat butter, they don't really know why they're telling you to eat butter. I'm going to recommend you add butter to help you get through ketosis, not to prevent it, not to block it, but to encourage you to keep going. And butter can help with that. If you want to learn more about how to use butter to help you get through ketosis, Put it in the comments. Like, comment, follow, and share. This ends this